morning, everyone. Well, it's at least it's good morning here. It's Thursday morning, the 18th of September at Incheon International Airport in Seoul. And we are here to bring you another edition of Runway DFW at Large. Welcome. This is almost kind of normally the time we would bring you our Runway DFW at Dark presentation, but we are just ahead of sunrise here, and we'll be with you for about 2 hours. We've got to clear out our hard off time here is like 2 hours because I've got to get back to the hotel, pack up, check out by 11 o'clock local time. So we'll have a couple hours of plane watching here from the rooftop of Air Refresh here astride the big airport. And so I look forward to a couple of hours of broadcasting and interacting with you and having some fun. And then I will trudge back to the hotel, pack up, get on a shuttle bus, go to the airport, find a subway train that takes me to my Airbnb in Seoul. So a lot of traveling to do here for yours truly. And we'll have some more streams as we go along through our stay here and in Seoul. But today is plane watching, so let's see what we can get to here. Thank you, Anna, for that. Good morning to you, Beve. So we've got a couple of our top-notch mods here with us so far that I've seen. Space Needle, very cool location. Yeah, we were here yesterday and just had a blast. I had no idea such a place like this existed anywhere in the world of plane spotting, and yet here we are. Again, the place we're at is called, what is it called? Air Refresh. And I hadn't heard of it until I got here this time. Very nice place. So the sky is, my tripod's a little wobbly here. Got this other view, which is interesting. Before we get to the planes, you see some those kind of twin towers there, which look like triangles. That's a suspension bridge. We saw it a little more clearly yesterday. And yes, that's water over there. We're surrounded by water here at the airport, on most, I think, on all sides. All right, I think we've got a plane moving into position. Do we? I think that's Malaysia. We have a new subscriber. Thank you to you. Couldn't quite make out your name on my tiny screen here. Okay, so we'll punch out the music here. I think I need to turn off my alerts. Okay. Let's see what we got down there. Looks like Malaysia Flight 66 from Kuala Lumpur. I guess that landed and it's looking for a parking space now. Jeju Air. you there. All right, in arrival, this would be Jin Air. I'm not sure what those beeps signify. I hope it's nothing bad. If you were with us for our earlier streams from Seoul, apparently the feed that Flight Radar 24 gets of the aircraft data from here is not, it's either not real time or it's not working very well. So sometimes I'm a little, I don't have all the information I would normally be able to give you were we in Dallas. Let's see here. Talking to myself. Matt Simmons watching from work. Hello to you, Matt. I'm really unclear as to what that sound is. Well, I'll turn down that source so we won't hear it anymore. Okay, so we have some planes lined up down there at the southern end of the runway, including a United jet. Which is not on my radar. It could be parked down there, but I think that's the lineup to depart. Next to the United jet, there's a Cathay Pacific. This looks to be another Jeju Air. Let me describe to you or show you where we are located. We're on a patio. It's a patio on top of a 4th floor building. You can see it has some shade. If we tilt up, I don't know if we can tilt up there. There's a platform where you can stand and do a selfie, I guess. I don't know. I guess I could be higher up there, but no, not for me. This is high enough. To get up here to this location, it's necessary to climb 4 flights of stairs as there is no elevator. So that was fun. But it's worth it to get this kind of an overview of everything. There's just a few of the Korean airplanes, and as you can see from this shot, I don't see any that have the new livery. We've seen a few. We've seen some wide bodies and some narrow bodies with bearing the new Korean Air look, but not as many as you might expect. I don't know what the timetable is for that switch over to be. I'm sure it must be years, at least a couple of years. Michael Hale says, looked like someone left their rental car up there along with you along the rail. I don't know what that's for. I guess maybe that's for plane spotters who bring their kids. Not sure. Well, let's see. Let's follow along with this Asiana aircraft. Usually we can get an indication of what took off after it takes off, but as far as planes on the runway go, sometimes we don't get a very good reading. So that, wow, that must be that plane is going to Gimpo Airport in Seoul. I don't know if that's a regularly scheduled flight. That was an Airbus A330-300. Gimpo is just let's see what it says here, 22 miles away. So a repositioning flight 801A, probably repositioning. We hope to get over to Gimpo at some point. Sounds like one of the Marx brothers, doesn't it? Harpo, Zeppo, Gimpo. But no, Gimpo is the other international airport here in Seoul. It's more of a regional, Southeast Asia or Asia oriented. They do domestic flights over at Gimpo as well as international flights, but mostly to Tokyo and other Asian capitals. I don't think it goes any further afield than that. So yes, I have multiple times in there. I should probably take that top one out because I don't need it currently. All right, we got another plane which has escaped our attention, but we will catch up to it here. China Eastern, I think it is. China Eastern with the Yunnan Peacock livery. 737-800. Destination unspecified. Got a 747 coming in. Let's see if we can pick it up here. We ought to see, even though we're only going to be here 2 hours, I am assuming we'll see several 747s. This is flight 62. Just arriving from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. In, as you can see, the well-established livery of Korean Air. Same type of plane I was on when I came here from LAX. And no, I did not get to sit in the top section. I didn't even get to go up the stairs. But I've been on a 747 now. A 777 coming in on the east side of the airport over there. Asiana. That was arriving from Singapore, 777-200. Back over to the west side where we are. I believe, well, I can't really tell yet. So many airlines. Oh, it's Batik Air. I think Noel Phillips flew on this once. Kind of a quirky little airline. And the first time we've seen this on this go-round. Batik Air, Flight 823, operated by Batik Air Malaysia. It is on its way to Kota Kinabalu, 737-800. So, you know, just keep checking off those planes, those airlines you've never seen before. Looks like another Jeju Air is poised for dispatch. And still we see that United plane there, and also a Cathay Pacific behind that United. Ryan Paulding says, hello again, Walt. That's like the FedEx flight from Alliance to DFW. We're just talking about that flight from here to Gimpo Airport. Still catching up on messages here. Hazel Kitching. Hello, Walt. Nice to see you again. Hope you are well. I am well. I feel like I need a vacation from my vacation so far, but there's a lot of walking involved. Coming over here from my hotel. Well, it's really not that bad of a walk. It's just about a 15-minute walk. But of course, I'm lugging a 25-pound suitcase on wheels and a similarly weighted backpack. So I'm burning those calories here in Seoul. Jeju Air, flight 1301, 737-800, on its way to Osaka, Japan. Now you can hear some wildlife in the background. We should pause to pay tribute to the Franken plane down there. It's a yikes! Like a 747 married a DC-10 at some point. Kind of crazy looking. It's used for fire training. We have yet another airline to consider here. Is Air Asia X? Is this what that is? Not sure. No, I believe that was Vietjet Air. And another one of those planes where the destination has not been specified. It's a very pleasant morning here in mid-September. 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind out of the north at 7 miles an hour. Michael Hale, channel member, says, not sure why, but I was surprised to find out that the population there in, I guess, the Seoul metropolitan area is 9.7 million peoples. And I guess having been here, I am not surprised about that. I see our friend. Well, we've got more mods coming in. Luke the Random Spotter. Hello, Luke. We have Ken Schmidt. Another one of our mods. Hello to you. Texas Girl wants to know when I'm coming back. Did that go up? Yeah, there it is. I'll be coming back. It's next week, next Tuesday. Wendy Weil commenting on that Franken plane. M.R. Rice says, a cool model for firefighting training. Davey Dog says, thanks for the stream from, oh, he said NK. We're in SK. Austin Swafford, I think, offered up this super chat before we went even on the air. $20 super chat. Thank you, Austin. So I think we've got a Vietnam Airlines plane lined up here. But we have to move our camera to see it. There it is. I was racing to get up here, and I forgot I had a nice cold bottle of water. Let me take a sip here. Vietnam Airlines 441 is an Airbus A321neo going to Nha Trang. Now, I don't know if this is, the busiest part of the day or not. It might not be, but I had to come when I could get here. There's a Korean Air King, Airbus A380. Looks like it's parked on a stand over there. It's not at a terminal. See what else we can show you here. Well, we can show you the Korean flag waving in the breeze. We came over here earlier. Well, no, actually, it was yesterday as far as Korean time goes. And just as we got here starting to set up, it started to rain. So we had to move indoors. But fortunately, there's a nice little tiny room, but a little room where you can take shelter. And there was another photographer here, a Korean gentleman, who was also moving in and out with as the weather went along. Some taxiway activity as we see Korean Air and Air Premia and Asiana jets parked over there. Sending Dragon 1 said that it looks like that A380 is having some engine service. You know, I didn't get a go back and look at that. You would think they'd have a hangar to do that. But of course, A380 is a pretty big plane, the biggest one there is, so there might not be a hangar available for work like that. Another Jeju Air taking to the skies. I wonder what their fleet is like. Now, Jeju is an island off the southern coast of Korea. Very popular. In fact, I believe if I've read right, and by the way, that plane was going to Sapporo in Japan, the 737-800. If I've read correctly, Jeju is the most traveled destination, or the busiest air route, I think, in the world. It's like a, kind of a weekend getaway place. It's kind of semi-tropical climate, as I understand it. I know my son has been there. I have not. Look who's here. It's O'Malley, another one of our mods. Hello, O'Malley. Good to see you. Davy Dog, what aircraft were you on over the Pacific? I was on coming over here from LAX, I was on a Korean Air 747 Intercontinental, and going back will be by way of Hong Kong. I will travel to Hong Kong on an A330, and then from Hong Kong to DFW on an A350-1000. All those planes I've never had a chance to fly on before, so I'm kind of making this a trip to experience aircraft. And I see Kai there too. Hello, Kai. Kai, another one of our mods. So it is a little quiet here, as it happens at all airports. I think we were on the air a little later in the morning yesterday. Well, I know we were. So that I hadn't quite experienced this, when we were here it was very busy. Here's one of the terminals. I think that's Terminal 2 or B. I can't remember how they designate those terminals here. Terminal 1 and 2. So I think we're looking at Terminal 2 there, which I believe is would be the newer of the two terminals, and I think the one that Korean Air has dominion over most of. And then I'll show you Terminal 1 here in a second. Kind of hard to see the whole thing because it's so spread out, but that's Terminal 1. And they are linked by an underground railway. Yet another Jin Air, I believe. Kind of glad we got some clouds today, because otherwise, kind of similar to a morning situation at DFW Airport. Once the sun comes up, it's kind of blasting in your eyes, and everything is a silhouette. So it's a little nicer that our view is moderated by clouds. So I think this is Air Busan. Busan, I believe, is the second city here in South Korea, the second biggest city. I believe it's on the coast, on the east coast. You see at least one of the new Korean Air liveries in the background there. All right, we have a plane about to launch. Tilt up. It's T-Way, our first T-Way of the day. As previously discussed, this will soon, maybe it's already known as Trinity Airways or Trinity Airlines, but the rebranding won't take place until next year. Going T-Way. It's flight 613 going to Shenyang, 737-800. A Jin Air flight landing. Jin Air, another Korean-based entity. And I believe this just stopping by from Guam after a 4-hour and 16-minute flight, a MAX 8. I'd like to thank Emirates A380 for becoming a twin-jet member. Thank you, Emirates A380. Yet another mod. I think we have it's a mod convention today. Here's Josh Aldrich. Hello, Josh. Coming to us from Oklahoma City, or at least it's, or thereabouts. What does the radar tell me? The radar tells me we've got a Korean Air Airbus A320 coming in from Daegu, another Korean city, a domestic flight. Let's check it out. Flight 1432. It's a little higher than I expected to see it. It couldn't be going around. That's not it. That's a 4-engine plane, is it not? Oh, it must be coming in. Okay. That is Flight 314, Korean Air, 747-8 Intercontinental, coming in from Hong Kong. Over there on the north side, or on the west side, the east side of the airport. I'll get it. One of them is right. The east side. See it pop through this screen here. And of course, that was a Korean Air cargo flight, not passenger. Kevin says a FedEx MD-11 landing right now. Now, I don't know how long ago you sent that message, but in any event, I did not see it. A Korean Air 777-300ER coming in from Singapore. But also on the other side of the airfield. So similar to that cargo plane we just saw. Making its way into the airspace. pretty sure this is not what I described. Looks to be an Air Premia Dreamliner. No, it's a Sky Team livery. Oh, okay, it's a Sky Team livery of the plane we did describe, which looks nothing like Korean Air livery, because it just says Korean Air there under the Sky Team logo, but it has none of the colors which would designate it as either the new or old Korean Air livery. Peach. Yes, there's an airline called Peach. Which does not present itself in peach colors. So I don't know, maybe the word peach has a different meaning wherever it is based. But Peach, Flight 172, is off to Osaka, Japan. And Peach is an airline that's based in Japan. Jeju Air grinding to a halt. So I believe this MAX 8 has arrived from Cebu in the Philippines. Okay, we have an arrival here on, well, we've got a takeoff here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we've got. So it'll be Busan Air. Busan Air, Flight 156, or Air Busan, sorry, Air Busan, going to Fukuoka in Japan. Looks like we have a new livery Korean airplane. A 777-300ER, Flight 006, shaken not stirred. Oh, here comes that A330, I think it was. So the Asiana coming in from Tashkent, an A330 300. Got another Jin Air, got ready to launch. Jin Air, Flight 201 off to Narita Airport in Tokyo, 737-800. Now, well, that new look Korean Air livery in line to take off. Michael Flannery saying hello, channel member. Hello to you, Michael. Fast Eddie noting that Jin Air is owned by Korean Air. So take that. It's the Boeing friendly time of 7:47 here on a Thursday morning in South Korea. Just to kind of let you know where things are. Michael Flannery saying hello, hello. It's kind of snuck up on us. Another Asiana plane. This one, I believe, coming to us from Phuket. An A330 300. Going to an airport like this makes you realize how many places there are in the world and how many places you will never ever go to. Although somebody in the chat was saying yesterday, yesterday I guess it was. Oh, you're in Korea and that looks like a nice place, but I'll never go there. But you never know. Because really, unless my son had decided to live and work in Korea, he also went to school here, I don't think I'd ever go to Korea, and I really would have been missing out on a lot. Okay, so that big Korean 777 is now in position to take off. And again, I don't think we have a destination for this. No, we do not. At least not yet. We can tell you it's flight 6. Flight number 6. Flight radar never did fill us in on the destination on that flight. Well, next up we got another Jeju Air. I think this is a special livery, although I'm not sure. Jeju Air off to Hiroshima in Japan, 737-800, flight 1611. If I knew how to make coffee, I'd probably go into the little hut here atop the air refresh facility and go make myself a cup of coffee. I think I need like some caffeine or something. But I'll manage later in the day. Let's see who's here. Fast Eddie says Jeju is a special little island for Koreans. It really is. Jeff and Maswan, very exciting to see all those KALs together. Kind of like this, yeah. It's kind of like being at DFW Airport, except they'd all be American Airlines planes. Except, to be honest, we do have an incredibly greater variety of airlines here than DFW probably has ever seen. I see Sarah Deal in the chat room with us this morning, or well, this morning here, this evening where you are. Sarah Deal says Swiss Air's left engine exploded during takeoff at Boston yesterday. All passengers were okay. Mike was following live when he saw the explosion and smoke. Wow. That does not sound good. We saw a Swiss Air A330 300 yesterday. Was it yesterday? All the days have melded together. It was fun to see that. Just looking there at Eastar Jet, Flight 621, going to Sapporo, Japan. Eastar Jet looks to be another Korean entity. And speaking of Korean, here's the new Korean Air livery on a smaller jet. This A330-300 just came in from Denpasar. And Denpasar, as I'm sure you all know, is in Indonesia. Taking off for Singapore, Asiana Flight 731, an Airbus A321 Neo. Well, I think we've arrived at the top of the hour. Have we not? So let's identify ourselves for our affiliates along the network.
Live on YouTube, it's Runway DFW.
And there we are. Thank you, Warren. It's Runway DFW at large today, live from Seoul, South Korea. And this is going to be our final hour here for this broadcast, because I've got to get back to the old hotel and make sure I can check out of the room by checkout time and get a courtesy van over to the airport, from which I will get on the public transportation to my next destination, which will be an Airbnb in Seoul. It's an arriving flight. Uzbekistan Airways. Say that came in from Tashkent. So it's a 787-8 Dreamliner. Six-year-old plane. And the flight from Tashkent, 5 hours and 16 minutes. Just about 3,000 miles away. Jet Setter bound, a little confused when that Asiana A321 departed. I said, why is there an Asiana A321 at DFW? Glad you made it safe. I did. There's the old Korean Air livery on a smaller plane. Korean Air Flight 795 is headed to Nagasaki in Japan. 737-8. And here we have Air Seoul going to Fukuoka in Japan, an Airbus A321. Not too many airlines with prominently featuring green as their color. Aer Lingus comes to mind. Taxiway checking in. Flight 176 from Da Nang in Vietnam with the airport code DAD, D-A-D. John Hume says, notes we have a Green Air Baltic in Europe. And of course there's also EVA Air, the Taiwanese airline, which is about to launch passenger service to DFW. But still, I would say green is probably one of the least common primary colors you'd see on an aircraft. For some reason, I don't know why. It's a good color, in my judgment. So that Air Seoul Airbus A321 is off to Fukuoka in Japan. Now I think we've got another big plane. We've got a 787-10, flight 173, Korean Air, going to Hong Kong. It's getting cooler here. Something's happening meteorologically. It's definitely cooler than it was when I got here this morning. It's a big airplane, that -10 Dreamliner. Looks like we've got a 777 Ethiopian Cargo coming in from Oslo. We'll check into that in a minute. Looking to the south of us here, there's another apartment building, kind of similar to this one, which also has a nice deck on top of it. Got some lights and chairs, and then way up on top there's like a bench to watch the planes. We're going to reset here to see if we can bring you this Ethiopian Cargo plane coming in from Oslo. Left Oslo 8 hours and 42 minutes ago. Quite see it yet, but it should be in our view within about 30 seconds, if my calculations are correct. Anna is a fan of the Air Seoul livery. John Hume said the Asiana Airport looks spotlessly clean and modern when you streamed the other day. What's the cost of living like there, Walt? I'll have to check in with my son when I see him as to how that goes. The exchange rate is literally almost 10,000 won, and here comes the Ethiopian Cargo. 10,000 won is that right? $7.47. So things look really expensive when you see the prices in won. So I think later in the week we'll be doing some walkabout tours. We may go to a supermarket or a convenience store or something and try to decode the pricing for you. Lifting off into the sky, Air Macau from Seoul, leaving Seoul, don't know the destination. Macau, perhaps? It's an Airbus A321. We appear to have an old school Korean Air livery here. You know what? Let's check out UPS. Yes, UPS is coming in from Shenzhen in China. It's coming in right over here. It's going to be a 767-300ER. And cue the UPS. Ooh, and right behind that, if we ever see it, is a 747-400. There's UPS. Something we're very familiar with at DFW Airport. Korean Air 845 off to Qingdao, an Airbus A330-300, flight 845. And now, time for Garuda Air, flight 919 arriving from Shanghai. This looks to be an all-white livery, 22-year-old 747-400. So stand by for this. O'Hare Aviation, can you show the Korean Air new livery 737? Well, if I see one, I will do that. It's a plain Jane. Yep, that's pretty plain. Where's the reg number? There it is. That's it. It's the only marking on that plane, at least from this side. The plane says Heath Shelton, channel member. Korean Air new livery. That plane was a 737-900 going to a destination unspecified. So there you go. Someone asked about the new Korean Air livery on a 737. That's what it looks like. We're close to seeing LOT Polish Airways taking off in a Dash 9 Dreamliner. But before that, I do believe we have this. There's an Airbus A321 Korean Air Flight 441 to Hanoi. Now I believe we've got the LOT Dreamliner. Going to Warsaw, pretty good guess, I guess. A little floofage on the engine there. It's a bit humid today. believe we've got Korean Air going to Shenyang and Airbus A330 300, flight 831. Korean Air double play for you here. Did I identify that last plane correctly? No, the last one we saw was flight 621. It was a 777-300 taking off to Manila in the Philippines. Thank you, Graham. Skittles is here. Hello to you, Skittles. Glad to see you hanging out with us today. I missed you at Cranky Dorkfest. I guess you didn't get a chance to go. Either that or you were invisible. So we've got a Jin Air, 777-200ER, about to make its way to Taipei. It's flight 731. have we here? I have no idea. What is that? SF Airlines. Okay, that explains it. It's SF. Is that an F? I guess it is. Yes, SF Airlines. I don't think we'd seen this one in our previous exploits here. Came from Ezhou, E-Z-H-O-U. It's a 757-200. Guess it's a Chinese airline of some sort. Where'd he go?
1994.
Yes, our singers came along with us. You know, if I were a betting man, I'd say it's going to rain. And I still have to walk back to the hotel. Let's check out this aircraft, because this doesn't look familiar either. Oh, Cebu Pacific. That's a nice livery. Nice colors. First time we've seen that. I really do need to go back and catalog all these airlines we've seen since we've been here. Cebu Pacific off to Manila on that A321 Neo. I spy with my little eye an Atlas Air 747. That is going to Shanghai, I believe. Yes. 747-400. 23-year-old plane. Jeffrey Boo says, I love Incheon Airport. I don't know how you couldn't love Incheon Airport. What a great place. Korean Air 197 is what we just were looking at. That one's going to Ulaanbaatar on that A330-300. And I see that Atlas Air is next up. We have another 747 coming in. Let's check that out. As you can see, Korean Air Cargo. And we're about to see a 777 arriving from Shanghai, another Korean Air cargo. We have another 777 about to land. This will be flight 630 from Denpasar. This is a passenger plane, a 777-300ER is what we'll be seeing next. Alright, here comes the triple from Denpasar. Jeju Air once again takes to the skies. I'm sorry, Jin Air. Jin Air. My apologies. Oh, I think I saw a cargo lux there on the way to take off. Jin Air Flight 357 off to, let me see, I get this right, Shimojishima, Max 8. Tell you what. You hang around a place like this for a while, you feel like you've never been anywhere. Seems as though we have, this will be a Jeju Air about to blast off here. Well, we've got about 20 minutes left in this broadcast, and on account of the fact that I've got to check out of my hotel, which is about a 15-minute walk from here, that may be 20. And as I described earlier in the broadcast, I've got to then get a shuttle bus over to the airport and find my way into the transit system for my next destination, which is a Airbnb in Seoul. You saw briefly another plane lifting off from the east side of the facility here. It's non-stop action or pretty much non-stop here at ICN. Looks like we've got Korean Air Flight 714 and Airbus A330-300. Destination unavailable. Plane's got to make a left there. They don't want to go into North Korea airspace. I have a droopy tripod. I believe this is China Eastern. gonna say that was China Eastern Airlines to Qingdao. Airbus A321 200, flight 2044. Okay, let's see what we got here. Jeff in Mass 1 likes the Air Seoul livery. I kind of like that too. Captain Jerry Donnelly, we welcome him as a twin jet member. Thank you, Captain. Always good to have someone who knows what they're talking about on board with us. CFI on the fly says good evening to everyone. James Moy, good evening, Walt Mods and everyone. I've been catching up on Walt's other adventures so far. Josh Aldridge saying hello. Phil G, channel member, hello from Berkeley, California. And I've got to catch up to this T-Way plane. There it is. Which way is T-Way going? T-Way is, well, not available. Flight 188, 737-800. Don't have a destination. All right, let's check out Garuda Indonesia. This plane will be arriving from Jakarta, an Airbus A330-300. Need to get that in focus a little better. I believe one of the Pokemon liveries we saw in previous days was a Garuda Indonesia plane, I think, as I recall. Well, we're down to the last 10 minutes of our broadcast availability. Our satellite time will expire after 10 minutes. Not really, but again, as I explained, I've got to get me to back to the hotel, to do a little quick packing up, and then head off to our next destination in Seoul itself. And I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing my son. 'Cause I've been here for a couple of days now. Haven't yet seen him. Okay, we've got yet another airline that I've never heard of. Awesome Cargo. Coming in from Zhengzhou. This will be an Airbus A330-200. Awesome Cargo. So we're about to see, ladies and gentlemen, Awesome Cargo. What more can I say? Awesome Cargo. You can tell by the A on its tail. Who would want to ship via UPS or Cargo Lux when you could send your packages by Awesome Cargo? Well, I don't know if we can top that. The Cargo Lux plane, by the way, was going to Baku, 747-800. So as we approach the top of the hour and our time to say goodbye, I think we'll have try for one more plane here. But I don't know what that's going to be. Rave Kumquat says it's a subsidiary of Totally Awesome Cargo. What we got over here? We got Air France. This is flight 267 on its way to Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, 777-200. But I don't think we're going to have time to see that. So we really do have to start packing things up. So what we're going to do is, I think our last plane's going to be, I guess appropriately enough, Asiana. the info on this plane yet. Here we go. You will have to forgive me this one. I'm a little low energy. And that was Asiana Flight 732, an Airbus A330-300 going to parts unknown. And with that, I think we will bid you adieu from Seoul. So here I am. I've got to pack this stuff up, go down 4 flights of stairs, walk about a quarter of a mile that way, get in the hotel, pack my stuff, and then go on to the next destination. We'll have more for you from Seoul in the coming days, so I hope you'll keep your notification bells activated. I don't know, a lot of these streams will be coming up on pretty short notice or even no notice. I'm going to try to get over to Gimpo Airport, which is the other major airport here in Seoul, before the end of the week. And the day that happens will depend on the weather. But we'll have more walking around, more at-large presentations here for you. I've been here. I'm dying to do a laundry. I have a Cayman Island shirt on because I've run out of my Runway DFW shirts over the last few days. So yeah, there is a laundry or a washing machine inside the Airbnb, which I am going to today. So laundry's on the agenda for me. But I think that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for all of our mods who were here. I think we had almost all of our mods here with us today. Thank you for that. Thank you to our channel members. Thank you to our channel sponsor, James Webb. Big thank you to you. And thanks to anybody if you haven't subscribed, I'm looking over at airplanes and things. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you will consider that and give us a like if you liked what you saw. We'll be back with more from Seoul, but until then, it's Walt signing off. I'll see you soon on Runway DFW. Music maestro, please. Maestro. Maestro, music, please. We need some music.
All the best.
This is Warren Barnett speaking for Runway DFW, a Runway DFW production, all rights reserved.